Hello, everyone. It's Keith
and Gerry.
Welcome to another fabulous episode of Pop Culture Minefield.
Episode 98.
We are so close to 100.
I know, and then we're gonna die.
Really?
It's inevitable.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
we're gonna be talking some nerdy nerd stuff,
as always, and we're gonna start out with some Ghostbusters news.
Ooh.
And some news about a new film set in the Sherlock Holmes universe.
Oh, yeah. The Enola Holmes series. Books. And they're going to do the film with, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
In a minute.
And then some Star Trek news.
Oh, you know it's going to suck.
Okay, I'm sorry. Some CBS Trek news.
And then, of course, we got some rumors.
Rumors set in the Marvel Universe?
Yes,
okay.
As well as not a rumor, but a factoid. So, So we'll be talking about that once you survive the credits. If you survive the credits. So let's roll them.
From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gary Kissel.
Hey, you survived the credits! Thanks, guys. Glad you stuck around. Because we're going to be talking about some really, like I said, nerdy nerd stuff. And let's pull us off here because he knew about the video before I did. And I didn't even know there was a video.
Yeah.
I just saw the news from Variety.
Yeah.
And
there was a video on Instagram that Paul Rudd posted in front of the firehouse that was used as their headquarters for the first Ghostbusters movie.
Ladder 89, is it?
I thought it was 8.
Is it that? Is that it?
8.
It's old. I mean, it's so amazing that place is still there. Because, I mean, it seems like, just talking in general, I've lived in a lot of cities, and they have a tendency of tearing down classic buildings if somebody doesn't take the time to protect them.
Yeah.
As historical landmarks. And, of course, that is a historic landmark. And not just because of the fact that it's like one of the still remaining and standing firehouses. It was used in Ghostbusters, which is over 20 years old. That makes it a classic. It's now antiquated. Yeah, baby. Yeah. So Paul Rudd, man, I'm all for it. I love that guy.
I know.
And he's reminiscent. If you look back at how they shot the original film, that they used people that were capable of comedy but could also play straight.
Yeah. And
do drama and play it real. Because Ghostbusters, when you look at it without the jokes, it's a straightforward kind of horror film. And the only thing really funny in it is how the characters react to things.
Yeah.
That's where the comedy comes from, and that's what made it so lovable. Because Bill Murray, he's a classic reactionary comic.
Yeah.
And, he would say, like, somebody would go, look, stairs, where do you think they go? Up. They go up. I mean, that's classic Bill Murray. And that's what made that film so endearing, funny, and a classic. And it was the mistake made by, what's his name, Feig's version.
Paul Feig?
Because he writes gags.
Yeah. But to be fair to Paul Feig, we did not get his movie. What we got was the Sony version of Ghostbusters.
And we know how bad Sony is.
Yeah, and Paul Feig, look, a lot of people really enjoyed his movie Bridesmaids.
Oh, I love that film.
Yeah, my feeling on it is that I would have enjoyed that too. And guess what? Paul Feig basically wanted to do that, but that's not the movie he was allowed to make. So the whole thing with Ghostbusters, as far as Paul Feig was concerned, was he had an idea of what he wanted to do with Ghostbusters, and Sony had a completely different idea.
And so both of them screwed it up.
Yep.
And the movie sucked. It has some great moments in it, though, because, like,
Yeah.
Hemsworth is hilarious.
Yes.
And he is...
I just wish that it had worked out better with Men in Black International, because, again, Sony...
It's tragic, because I had high hopes for it.
Well, Sony this time around decided that they just were going to be hands-off, and in being hands-off, you had a situation arise between a producer and a director who, for some reason, the producer sort of wandered away from what the agreed-upon movie they were making was supposed to be. So the director and the actors...
Well, we keep seeing little things like that, because that's what derailed Hellboy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's the producers stepping over the director.
Yeah.
And basically hamstringing him from being able to do his job.
Yeah.
And so you get this confusing, conflicting film.
Yeah.
And it had some great moments in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure, you know, the new I've not seen the new Men in Black. I just was not interested in it even remotely.
I'm kind of interested. I'm just hurt by the fact that they wasted the natural chemistry between two big stars like Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson and everyone else that's in it.
Yeah, because they do it. They have a great chemistry.
They have a great chemistry.
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But, you know, Ghostbusters, you know, Ivan Reitman's son, what's his name again? Jason Reitman. I'm really looking forward to what he's doing, because it got his dad emotional.
Yeah.
You know, and if it got his dad, Ivan, emotional, you know, it's got to really touch some key notes.
So then, who would you think that Paul Rudd would be playing? Because I have an idea of who I think, and the reason why they cast him in the film.
Do you think he's going to be Sigourney Weaver and
That was my initial thought, but that's not what I think anymore.
Okay, what do you think?
I think he's just going to be the regular government guy.
You think he's going to be a government guy and not a Ghostbuster?
Because remember, when it was first announced that they were making the Ghostbusters film, what you had were Jason talking about kids, not adults. So those are your main characters. Why would you put Paul Rudd in a movie where he gets to play second fiddle to kids if you're going to bring someone in that is as capable as Paul Rudd, especially being able to do comedy? I think you would cast him as the government guy. He's too old to have been Sigourney Weaver's son that you saw.
Yeah, because he was 12 in the 80s. 10 or 12, right?
Yeah, he's just
he's
too
not
old.
much younger than us.
Yeah, so he's too old to get away with that. And so my thinking was, like I said, my initial thought was just like yours.
So you think he'll be the bureaucratic bad guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like the more advanced version of the William Atherton character.
Yeah, and what was it he said that movie ruined his career? I mean, I'm laughing, but he did say that.
It didn't. Because he ended up doing Die Hard after.
Yeah, but he always felt that, because he had, like, his first big movie was Steven Spielberg's and Goldie Hawn's movie.
Something Express.
Yeah, it's Sugarland Express.
Sugarland, which was good.
And he was the good guy.
Yeah.
And he was the hero.
Yeah.
And after that, he plays one freaking movie, and from that point forward, it's all he gets.
Yeah.
Is slimy a-hole bad guys.
Yeah. Now, remember, though, I mean, the final time that I remember seeing him was in Real Genius.
Oh, yeah. Great freaking role. That's like one of my all-time, it's in my top 20 favorite films of all time. And Real Genius, great soundtrack, great cast. I mean, you just don't get better than Val Kilmer in that role.
Mm-hmm.
And
everybody was good in that film.
Oh man, Atherton as the slimy professor, and I still, there's a quote from it that you'll see me use on my Facebook page. I won't tell you what it is. I use it. I stole it from that film, and I use it all the time when I have that moment where somebody says something. I say a Val Kilmer line, and because I have so many Val Kilmer quotes that I use from Tombstone and from Real Genius and Top Secret too.
Yeah, that's another film that I enjoy.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Wow.
But anyway, Ghostbusters looks like it's really building up. It's going to be shooting this fall, so really not that far away because we're June. we're only a little over a month away from fall,
Yeah.
hitting in August.
So we're right at that half point in the year.
No
Wow.
boy.
2019's just like moving.
Yeah, man. Earth wants us to leave. It's aging us quickly.
Extra, extra. Hey kids, we're back to give you a really, really cool review of Toy Story 4.
Yeah, Toy Story 4. Because Craig went to see it, and it convinced me to not see it in 3D, but to watch it on IMAX. And so I did, and it was really good. No spoilers. This is just a really good story. Now, none of the sequels are as good as the first one, because that story by itself is just one of the greatest stories ever.
Mm-hmm.
But what you got here is just a really entertaining and emotionally driven story of feeling alienated, loneliness, isolation, because, Woody's going through some stuff, man. I mean, he's always going through something, but I love how his character is just, you feel for him, and you identify with him. And Craig and I talked about that there are moments in the story where you just really feel drawn into the drama of the story.
So it's I have heard that it's more of a Woody story, and it's not the fact that Buzz isn't in it at all.
Yeah, Buzz is in it, but it is a Woody story.
It is very heavily weighted towards Woody, and also the mystery of whatever happened to Bo Peep, and introducing us to some new characters and some new situations for this movie that is now hailed as really, really good.
Yeah, and we keep hearing this negative stuff about the box office and the critics panning it. And what it is you have people out there that are not about good storytelling. If the movie doesn't drive forward some sort of social political agenda, they knock the film. Mm. And this film doesn't give a crap about that. What it wants to do is tell you a story, and it wants to give you characters that you connect with emotionally. Not just because you watched the films of the franchise, mm-hmm. but because you're watching this film and you identify with what they're going through.
Yeah.
And I really felt that way watching this film. It is such a solid story. There are a couple of things, and Craig and I joked about it, that there are things that happen in the Toy Story universe that you look at and go, how did, when they have to move around while people are moving around, because they're not supposed to be able to move, they drop to the ground. But they found these tricks that work within their universe of how they hide behind things, and those things are moving and they hide behind them, and they're able to keep going. And so that happens in the film a few times, and you kind of giggle at it. It's like, it's so stretching, this idea. Mm-hmm. But the fact is it's so engaging. And Keanu is so funny as his character of the Canadian Evil Knievel.
Kaboom.
Yeah, he's the Canadian Evil Knievel.
Yeah. Well, listen, overall, I mean, the previous 3 Toy Story films were given Rotten Tomato scores of 100, 100, and I think it was 90, 98. And now this film, Toy Story 4, has also received a 98.
I'm not surprised.
That is incredible. 4 films, nothing below 98.
They're good stuff. And Pixar, they've had a few hits and misses over the years, but when you look at their consistency, mm-hmm. they don't put out crap. Yeah. And they focus on story. Yeah. Agenda out the door, story. Always story. And this one really blows it out of the water, because I really think it is one of the best of the sequels. It's not as good as the first film,
but
I consider it the best of the
right
sequels.
After, directly after the first one.
Yeah, it's right up there.
That is saying a lot.
And
so listen. Do you think they should have gone with my idea and just given everybody that goes to the movie their own box of tissues?
Yeah, I blubbered. Craig and I were poking fun at each other because we were just right out of the theater. I got a hold of him, And I'm like, oh yeah, I cried a couple of times, and I hate that because like when I go with my daughter or my girlfriend, they always like look at me when I'm blubbering because I'm fat, and my belly starts jiggling when I get emotional. You know, and I'm trying to be quiet. My stomach won't be quiet. It just jiggles, and everybody's like, "What is that? Why is he shaking? Is he having a tremor?"
It's all good, and I'm sure the people at Pixar really appreciate that.
Highly recommend this film.
Okay.
If you like Toy Story, you're gonna love this movie. You just will. And with that, we'll move on to the next subject. I guess we'll move on to the next one, which is, of course, Deadline. Deadline's got a lot of stories this week.
Yeah.
They wrote that Henry Cavill is joining the Enola Holmes film to play the part of Sherlock Holmes.
To Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Playing the lead of Enola Holmes. Now, I'm not really familiar with the books. I mean, I've heard of them, but I'm not really familiar with the books. So
I've never read them, but anything related to Sherlock Holmes, I'm all in.
Okay.
I'm all in.
Look, I'm
except
down.
for that stupid movie that came out this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Will Ferrell.
I feel bad.
It's just so bad.
Yeah.
I forced myself to watch the entire. I never did a review of it. I just won't even bother. It's just nothing funny. Terrible writing. But I still gave it a chance because I love Sherlock Holmes. In almost any iteration, there's only been like a handful of Sherlock Holmes films I didn't like.
I'm hoping that with Henry Cavill, that
and don't you find that an unusual casting for him, because Sherlock Holmes is not classically handsome.
True, and he's not just big.
Oh my God, he's just a beast.
Henry Cavill as a writer, I think he's slightly addicted to working out.
Oh my God, he totally is. He admits to it. You know, that he has really hit this point because, you know, my buddy Eric Browns posts about it all the time, and you know, he posts these little articles or little comments that he says, and he is so into physical fitness and bodybuilding. And he's now 3 times larger than he was when he played Superman the first time.
I mean, contrary to anything you may be hearing, if he were to play Superman again, you got to redo his costume.
Oh, yeah, he's too big for the first costume. He's too big. And you were saying earlier, you know, he's as big as The Rock, and
if not bigger. If not slightly bigger.
And he has decreased his body fat so much that his skin looks paper thin when he started flexing for the camera to show him how it's. I was like, oh my God, that's like 3% body fat on that guy. Ridiculous. I'm guessing at 3%. I'm not absolutely saying that. But still, it looks like 3% body fat. Wow. But anyway, that looks like it's going to shape up to be something interesting.
Just Warner Brothers, really, what is your reason for not wanting to work with him as Superman again?
I don't know.
He physically looks. I mean, he is Superman. Sculpted his body.
We lost Christopher Reeve and we got Henry Cavill. And don't get me wrong, I like the kid that played him in Superman Returns. Sweet guy.
Yeah.
Really sweet guy.
Yeah.
Midwesterner himself.
Yeah.
But Henry Cavill embodies Superman.
Yeah.
And I really like him as.
Think how long we had Wolverine as a character in film.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why he couldn't play the role anymore is that it just got too hard to work out. Well, one of the things is Hugh Jackman's at least 10 to 15 years older than Henry Cavill is right now. You could have this dude for another 15 years playing Superman, technically.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the same problem that you had with Hugh Jackman. He's already got the body. He never lets himself get out of shape, which means...
Because, Hugh Jackman notoriously, does not work out. I love those in-between movie photos of him on the beach with a dad belly sticking out.
Yeah, I mean, he's now pretty much lost all of the muscle definition that he had, even for Logan.
Yep.
And you couldn't tell that he ever really played the part outside of the fact that his face. That's it.
Yep.
Henry Cavill, you take a side-by-side photo of what he looked like when he first did Man of Steel to now. It's like you're gonna think somebody's manipulating the image because he's so big.
Yeah, and he just really is. That's not fake. It's totally real. So, but anyway, Henry Cavill. That's all I gotta say. Henry Cavill.
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Superman is now Sherlock Holmes.
Yep. So we'll have actually currently 3 Sherlock Holmes in the comic universe.
Yeah.
Think about that, because you've got Bunster Cumberbunch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah,
will
that
appreciate
guy.
that. Yeah.
And then, of course,
RDJ.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
And then Henry Cavill. 3 comic book movie stars playing Sherlock Holmes. There you go. All right. So moving on to the next one, we got just some exciting news. Exciting, isn't it? Hold on, let me check my pulse. No, I think I'm dead. Star Trek news.
More CBS Trek news.
CBS Trek.
Yeah.
Not Star Trek, CBS Trek. And CBS has, for some reason, and even though this guy has worked on 3 things I like, he has been the cohort to Alex Kurtzman all the way through. So it's like, how are you saving or fixing anything with this guy?
Yeah.
And it's, of course, Michael Chabon.
Who I enjoy. I'm still waiting for a big screen version of Cavalier and Clay. But
I loved his book and movie that was based on it, Wonder Boys.
Yes.
Really good film. And of course, you know, he wrote the story for Spider-Man 2, which is still my favorite superhero film outside of Superman, the motion picture.
And that to me is the one reason why I'm have any interest in what he might do with Picard, from the point where he's taking over on, because
because up to this point, you know, he's been working, because I have been complaining, and I know you have too, the writing is terrible on Discovery, just terrible writing. And he's been writing from the very beginning on the show.
Yeah.
So there's that. So it's like, is it going to get better with him in there? Or is it going to just remain same shit, different day?
Yeah.
You know, we've named this new guy, but the new guy's been there all along. I don't know. So he's part of the suckage of Discovery. He has to bear some of that burden. But on his own, will he rise to the occasion, or will it remain the same? And Picard is something that word came out that people who saw the early version of it didn't like it. So, but CBS is still doubling down, because that's what they do.
Look, it's built up to be too big to fail, but we know how that story works.
Yeah,
out.
that is never true.
Yeah.
So, but hey, man, here's to you not sucking, Michael Chabon.
Hey, look, I follow you on Instagram. You are crazy talented. You've got an amazing
And he claims
family.
to be a Star Trek fan. A true,
yeah, but
like Orky.
yeah, and again, nothing against you personally, but this is more of a wait and see type thing with me. And the unfortunate thing is, given how many episodes Picard is supposed to be, if he's taking over now, I mean,
they're already in the can.
Yeah.
You know, from what I understood, the entire season's been shot, right?
Yeah.
So
what are you doing? I mean,
season 2? I mean,
we're not even sure.
There's going to be a season 3 of Discovery at this point. No, there's no money.
There's money. CBS has money.
Well, CBS has to spend their own money.
Yeah.
And they're not wanting to.
That's it.
But the only way they're going to get this done at this point, because Netflix is never going to put another dime in. And I don't think Amazon is going to put another dime in until they see success from what they got.
Well, Amazon's been having their own personal problems with a lot of the films that they've been making, and that's made the news recently too. So you think CBS, if you think you're going to continue to be able to get money out of Amazon, I'm not sure you're really paying attention to where you are in this situation. To me, this just looks bad. It's good news for Michael Chabon. overall it just looks bad because it looks like you've got a project and really a universe that is just not doing well. Again, that isn't to say that it doesn't have its fans. There are a lot of people supposedly out there that are big fans of what these people are doing with CBS Trek. And that's great. If you enjoy what you enjoyed, love what you love. It's just the fact that it's just not that good. There are other things you can spend your time on that are worth more overall, and you'll get more entertainment value, in my personal opinion. But if this is what you like, fine. Like it for as long as it lasts. Some of us are just thinking it may not last as long as you may think.
Or want.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, all right, I guess we'll hit the rumors. And
Cool.
And it's all this is rumors. The Rock,
AKA Dwayne Johnson.
yeah, is looking to play the other Rock, the ever-loving thing.
Yeah. Ever-loving blue-eyed thing.
Blue-eyed thing, that's right. From the new Fantastic Four for the MCU. And,
Yes.
And of course, if this is true, I'm all in. I think he's perfect for the part. Perfect for the part.
Yeah.
I think that, because, other than Submariner was my first superhero.
Yeah.
And right after that was the Fantastic Four.
Ah, yeah.
As a kid. And because they were always connected to me. And the Thing was just one of those cool freaking characters. He was mouthy. And there was something that was really good about even Spider-Man. He was mouthy.
Yeah.
I liked mouthy superheroes. My favorite actors in the world are smartasses in real life and usually on screen. And it's the same thing in the comic books. My favorite characters are smartasses. And the Thing was the smartass, in my opinion, the first smartass for the Marvel Universe. And I don't know. I think he'd really be good. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. What do you think?
I agree.
If it comes true.
As long as they're not doing what Fox ended up doing, which is having a group of characters that can do amazing things and you do next to nothing with them, and you spend way too much money to basically do very little with them. That is a criticism of their handling of X-Men and Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four are meant to be the ultimate adventurers. And they're not really superheroes, they're adventurers. And there's a difference. And that one difference really is emblematic of why Fox didn't understand any of the Marvel stuff they had. They had no clue what they were doing with any of those characters, which makes me happy about Kevin Feige and the MCU getting these characters, really all of the Fox characters, and utilizing them and folding them into this universe that they're building. This is nothing but happy news. This is nothing but happy left, right, and center. So I know that there are those people that really enjoyed the Fox stuff, and that's fine. My advice to you is, it's not that the rest of us are trying to be cruel about it. It's the fact that there's a good chance that a lot of you that are fans of the Fox stuff probably never read any of the comics. So all we would ask you to do is just pick up a couple of the comics and try to see it from our point of view of what we have known for a long time.
And what should have been on screen.
Yeah, and what should have been on screen.
So there you go. And now let's move from the rumors to what is happening. And this was several entertainment sources published that Salma Hayek is in talks with the MCU to play one of the main characters in the Eternals.
Wow. That movie is shaping up to be something. Because already, I mean, prior to this news...
Because you're thinking that this is where Keanu might be making his
appearance. That was the initial thing, was that Keanu was looking at being a part of the Eternals. This is just going to be their next big thing. And I'm telling you, I have long since gotten out of the business of betting against the MCU.
I never bet against them.
I mean, Kevin Feige...
It's like betting against the house.
Oh, man. This is going to be something. And for me personally, I am not surprised that someone like Selma Hayek would want to be a part of this. Heck, I wouldn't really be surprised if they just decided to announce, well, Selma Hayek and The Rock are going to be a part of the Eternals, because it's that big of a project. This is ultimately what we're headed for here, something that is just beyond cool for us as fans of the original material and Marvel, and really as Jack Kirby fans, because Jack Kirby's about to have another good run between what this project will bring and what Warner Brothers through DC is wanting to bring. This is wow. If you don't know who Jack Kirby is by now,
Your life sucks.
yeah, your life really does suck.
Yeah. It's just, how the hell can you have gone through life and not know who the hell Jack Kirby is?
I mean, between the Eternals and the New Gods. Oh, wow.
Seriously, good stuff, man. He created so much for DC too. I mean, my God, a lot of the stuff that you saw in outer space that Superman eventually had to deal with, that came around in the 60s and going into the 70s. That was Jack Kirby, man.
OMAC. That would be...
Dark Side.
Warner Brothers, if you want something that's kind of like a futuristic sort of John Wick type adventure film, OMAC should be the next one that you get into. OMAC would kick butt. Commandy would kick butt.
If it were a knife, it would stab you in the face.
The challengers.
I just get excited when he gets like this.
The challengers of the unknown.
Yeah, man.
Etrigan the Demon. See, to me.
Oh my God! Yes, yeah.
Keanu
One of my
Reeves,
favorite characters.
Keanu Reeves could do that. He could be Jason Blood.
So I don't know, man. It's a lot of news, and I think we've pretty much earned the right to just end this episode. What do you think?
I concur.
All right. So with that, you guys stick around. That's Keith.
That's Gary. And remember,
yeah, subscribe.
Yeah,
like our stuff.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed yourself, let us know. It's the Italian way. Capiche?
And remember, get off our lawn.
Get off our lawn. Get out of here.
Please remember to like, subscribe and comment, as we love to hear back from our viewers. Also, if you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron of our show through Patreon and or GoFundMe. Links are listed below the video in the description.